It's another beautiful day. It's a delight to be with you on Global Television today. We're excited that you are there at the other end. It's another beautiful, bright Wednesday morning. We are reaching you live and direct from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. And of course, on Global Morning today, we have so much lined up for you. And I'm excited that it's going to be a smooth sail. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and of course, I'm here with Priscilla Obasi today to be a co-pilot on this flight. It's good to have you, Priscilla. Good morning.
It's good to be back.
Welcome back.
I've been under the weather. And thank you to our viewers for always taking your precious time to tune in to Global Morning. As Ramsey has said, today promises to be an amazing day. By the grace of God, yes. And then we have a lot lined up for you today. Nigeria is a beautiful place. And
yeah, it's beautiful.
There's no day you don't go on the internet to just see something that amazes you. Positively, negatively, whatever it is. But we've learned to take it, whatever it is. We've learned to be happy regardless of circumstances. So it's another day to encourage you to stay positive so that the best of the day can get to you. But what's buzzing, Ramsey?
Yeah, so many things are happening on the internet, like you said, when you get on the internet. I don't know, for Nigerians, I think a lot of people don't go on the internet today. You see a lot of people focusing on the entertainment aspect of the internet compared to the news aspect, because most of the news that you get on the internet today is insecurity, sad stories. Like I said one time on this platform, that some people don't watch some stations. All right, because the only thing they hear is if you tune to some channels, the only thing you hear is war, bombing, you know. So a lot of people actually don't really focus on the internet so much these days. But the Gen Zs, they cannot do a minute without the internet. Suffering other things anyway. You know, sometimes they don't even care, because they have a target, they have their aims while they are on the internet. But all the same, I think the security situation is becoming more and more serious by the day.
Well, it's easy to say, I don't want to go to the internet because I don't want to see all of these things. And I understand when, one decides to just keep their sanity in check. Basically, you don't want to hear the bad news back to back. But can we deny the fact that whether we look at it or not, we are in it? And it might not directly affect us, but indirectly it does affect us. At the same time, what can we do about it? Like, it almost looks as if our hands are tied, waiting for the government to, be able to resolve it. If it has got to that point where they need us to lend our own voices or join our own hands or send our children to the war front, I don't know what it is.
for Nigeria, right? Is it for Nigeria, or you want to send your children to Israel, to Iran?
I'm talking about our local
Nigeria.
Issues that we keep back.
I think the security architecture is becoming overwhelming.
Yes, it has been overwhelming for the longest. For the last 2 years, if I check and if I'm correct, it has been overwhelming. Recently, there were rumors of the defense head, which Christopher Musa, resigning, and then he came out to say, "Oh no, those are all rumors." I don't know where it came from, but they usually say for every rumor there's an element of truth. I know that somehow it's overwhelming, and you can just imagine yourself in his shoes. Every day you're thinking. You just be thinking, what do I do? How do I save my face? How do I make this right? How do I create the impact? How do I really give the results that Nigerians want? Because when this man came into power, a lot of Nigerians were excited. We're happy. Once again,
because of his past antecedents.
It looked as if finally we're going to be able to end this, and the months kept going by with sad news almost every single day, still, being put in our faces. And you just want to admit that he's still human. But at the same time, we want results. At the same time, we don't want, the bad news. At the same time, people's families are being lost. At the same time, people are dying. So what is the way forward? What exactly is the way forward? Are we that clueless? Is it that there is no solution to this problem? Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know. The US has come out again in recent times to congratulate Nigerians on defeating. They seem to be more focused on the whole religious angle of this.
Not quite. I think the appraiser came for terrorism, fighting terrorism. The appraiser came, and you saw the reaction. In fact, the reaction of the presidency was something as the federal government, because the US said, well, so far Nigeria is trying, as it has to do with tackling insecurity in the country. And if US gives you a commendation, then you know what it means. This is the same US that has been checking the activities of what's happening in Nigeria, and of course the security thing, the collaboration thing, the taking out of the ISIS as second in command, you know. But then on the whole, I think we also need to congratulate and appreciate our military officers, security personnel, because most times we hear of the attacks, all right, more than the ones that are being repelled. We've had situations where you hear...
Is it not that there are more attacks than the ones that have been repelled?
No. The truth is this. The truth is this. It's easier to destroy than to repair. You understand? So we need to give it to them to an extent. We are not where we are, as it has to do with tackling insecurity, the security situation. We are not where we want to be yet.
But we are far from where we used to be.
We are
far. We're very far from where we used to be.
Yeah, meaning we are progressing.
We can't even give that line of, we're not where we are, but we're not where we used to be. That is not the situation.
Meaning we are very close to where we used to be.
We are far. We have left where we used to be.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it means that
the situation is deteriorating.
We have done a backward movement. We are not as safe as we used to.
But don't you think the security operatives are trying? Remember, I think if you get to the internet today, you see a lot of people sympathizing with the family of the senior army officer that was taken out because he resisted abduction, and they took his life, they unalived him, and still went away with his family. So you'll be asking, if there is need for ransom, who then is going to pay the ransom? So what's the fate of this family? This is one among so many. Exactly. A lot of security officers have been unalived. Some are.
Some don't even get
some, like you talked about sanity just now. Some of them are thinking of how their sanity will be. Then some Nigerians are thinking of what they should be paid, what they should earn. At least they are not back home to take care of their family. You know, they should have something that their families rely on to not to feel too much of the absence of the men at the front. Then you begin to think about this. Now nobody is safe. Okay, nobody is safe. We're talking about the security situation here. If a senior officer, he's not just a senior officer, he's an intelligence officer. You understand? Yeah. And it was a target. You know, I don't know the way these people get their information. Maybe sense, all right, good sense of reasoning may want to think in the direction that probably this man has been a threat, or maybe he has refused to compromise. Probably there is an insider that may have given information, because it was in his residence somewhere in Karo or somewhere. You know, so it's a worrisome situation, and I don't know when we are going to overcome this situation. But then it's going to be part of our discussion this morning, because we're going to have two major conversations here today. I'm so excited for ADC. At least now they will know their faith to an extent. But then you begin to think sometimes that the judicial officers, one judicial officer have said, well, the more cases they have, the more money they make. You understand? So somebody might even push somebody, go and appeal. A counsel could say, go and appeal. May advise such that will be beneficial to them. But all the same, we are excited, and Nigerians are excited that there might be a plain playground come 2037. I'm not saying. I'm just trying to be a true Nigerian that I am. Okay, now ADC, APP, other political parties can now beat their chest and say, yes, on your marks, we are set and we are ready to go.
It can't be so sure though, because every day on this in this space, in this political terrain, every new thing comes up. I need to wonder why we have politicians now that are going back to go and study law.
It's not too late.
It's not too late though, because that's where politics is going to now. Litigation to politigation.
I think this administration has the highest litigation.
You need to just be grounded as a politician. You cannot afford not to be grounded. When I saw the likes of Dino Melaye and Kenneth Okonkwo going back to school to saying they are going to go and do law, I look at the antecedent of most of the successful politicians, the likes of Wike now. Wike has a strong background of law. His wife is a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. His son is a lawyer. So it's a family of lawyers.
Most of these politicians are grooming their children, to go study law. And you're wondering, you think it's normal? No. It's where Nigerian politics is going to.
If we have a same country, all right, where the law, all right, justice is allowed to prevail in everything, whether you study law or you don't study law, provided there is a judge up there, you are sure. If you're not guilty, if you have your evidences readily available. But now, a lot of manipulations.
No, knowledge is power. You always have an edge if you are in the system, no matter what it is, because you know the mistakes not to make. You are grounded, right? It's you're
but most times is a lawyer to lawyer.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
In most cases, the individuals is just going to be interrogated so that the lawyer will know what to say. So it's going to be lawyer to lawyer.
You can't fight for yourself. You can't
fight for someone else the way you would fight for yourself.
Exactly. So if you are in that field, you're in that space, you know the terrain, you understand it properly, you will do better for yourself. Even if you need to have a lawyer.
That's what I want to advise.
Even if you need to have a lawyer, you know how to work with that person.
I want to advise you.
Please go ahead.
On the national television, please take up a course in law.
Well, I don't know how everyone that is too late.
It's about time for us to bring you Taste and Texture so we can give you at least a tip to what might be possible for breakfast this morning. Stay with us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is your super innovative chef, Saadatu Garba. Today, we're going to prepare an easy delicacy and we will be breaking down the entire process. In this episode of the program, we'll be preparing pancakes with syrup. Pancake is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a recipe that is filling, delicious and nutritious. Also, this breakfast pancake can be made in under 5 minutes by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: flour, sugar, egg, milk, salt, oil, and butter. Add a cup of flour into a bowl. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and baking powder. Add a teaspoon of salt and mix all together. Add a cup of milk into the dry mixture. Crack 1 egg and whisk, then add into the batter. Add 2 tablespoons of oil and mix everything together, then set aside. Heat up a pan with little oil. Scoop your pancake batter and add into the heated pan. Allow to cook for a minute, then flip when the edges are brown. Repeat the process until you exhaust the batter. Serve with syrup and butter and your fluffy pancakes are ready to enjoy. That's how we end today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you found our recipe insightful. Let's do this again next time and be sure to join me for another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
Well, that looks really sumptuous. Pancakes. I got to an advanced age before I started to like pancakes. It used to be a very boring food for me. But maturity comes with every sense of, or age comes with some kind of maturity that there are things that you would not want to reject again, because the effort. You think of the effort that goes in, you think of the resource that goes in, you think of, it just, there are foods that you start to like to eat as you grow up.
Yeah, that's true.
So pancakes for me is one of those.
Because that period you start having sense.
Exactly.
And you're like, why do I need to eat this to be satisfied, right?
Yeah.
Then you begin to attach one or two things to it. Then your taste bud starts rising to it.
Exactly.
And start getting used to it.
To make it. Put the effort to.
Mommy prepare this thing, let me.
But you don't know the effort. So
but with this, with the honey, with everything, I think it's going to be.
It really does look nice. So this is.
But I don't think an Igbo man want to take this for a breakfast.
What has Igbo people got to do with this? Like, we have
breakfast. Oh, breakfast.
Yes, it's breakfast.
Because I have evidence.
An Igbo man, I think it's more of an Idoma man that will know. An Idoma man would prefer to eat ona. Is that what they call it?
I have evidence.
Ona. Is it ona?
White man. The Igbo man. I've seen some before that say they don't even take tea in the morning. I was like, guy, if you know because you be my person, I will say something now. It's all the same.
Ultimately, it depends on where you grew up.
Yeah, it depends on the individual, definitely.
Where you grew up.
It depends on the individual.
Some of these stereotypes, I cannot relate to them.
It depends on the individual.
In all honesty.
It depends on the individual. When you're going to farm to do one long one. All right. At this point in time, we'll bring you.
Well, that was breakfast inspiration for you. We also need to inspire you with something that would help you get motivated to have a productive day. So let's join Ramsey Enokabo as he brings us inspirational for today. Ramsey, over to you.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is Heart to Heart Inspirational. And of course, my name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Your voice matters. That's what we want to look at today. Your voice matters. Okay. It doesn't matter. When we say your voice matters, what are we talking about? Is it that you are talkative? Is it that you are loquacious? Is it that you are a lingua franca? You can speak a lot of languages. Is that what we mean when we say your voice matters? A lot of voices have gone down the drain today. A lot of good voices, all right? When we say your voice matters, are we talking about the fact that you can sing or you are a poet? No, it's beyond that. Let me give you something right now. Silence has cost the world many solutions. Somewhere, someone needed your voice, but you never knew. But one of the things that have stopped a lot of people, a lot of voices from being heard, a lot of opinions from being shared, a lot of talents from being manifested is fear. Fear of what will happen if it doesn't go my way. My voice, are you sure my idea is going to count? Are you sure my opinion matters? Your voice is needed at several places for several reasons, but fear convinced you to stay quiet. You see what fear does? What is fear? In the actual sense of it, let me define fear for you. Fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Let me give you the acronym of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing to be real. That is false evidence appearing real. F for fear, E for evidence, A for appearing, then R for real. It is not real, but it's appearing to be real. You see, you've been quiet because of fear. You've been quiet because of maybe you feel you're going to be embarrassed, whereas you have a very good idea. Some people can never share their ideas, All right. I'm not saying you should share your vision to dream killers. That's not what I'm saying. Please, let's get this right, because I tell people all the time, it's not everybody you share your dreams with. If you are in doubt, please go and ask Joseph, his own brother. You remember what they did to him. I'm not saying you should share your dream with every Dick and Harry. Your plans, go and share your plans with everyone you see on the road. In fact, people, it's not even good to talk too much. Anywhere you go, you are just like a typewriter. 200 words in 1 minute. Habba. That's not the kind of voicing, speaking that I'm talking about. All right? Your voice carries story, it carries your experience, and it carries your perspective. And a lot of people will tell you that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A lot of people cannot be helped because, number one, they don't know the right people to even talk to. A lot of people are talking to the wrong persons per time. First of all, you need to know where and when your voice is supposed to be heard. You need to know where and when you need to speak. You don't speak everywhere. You don't talk everywhere. You should not be predictable. When people see you, they should not say, you don't they come. We know. Then before you know what is happening, you landed the venue and 200 words per minute. And you're not even making sense with what you're saying. It's embarrassing. That's not the kind of voice that I'm talking about. The voice that comes with quality. The voice that comes with perspective to every situation. The voice that comes with an experience that someone can learn from and become successful in life. A voice that carries stories that stands the test of time. Do you know that you go to some places and you share your story or maybe an experience or a perspective and somebody catch their vision? Yes. Somebody might just be around there. This is somebody that has been thinking, all right, of what to do in life. What do I even need to do in life? What am I in life for? Some people are even thinking suicide because they don't know what to do. Life doesn't mean anything to them. Then you come there, you begin to share stories, you begin to share testimonies, you begin to say some kind of positive things, and these people begin to realize themselves. They begin to discover themselves, because in every word that you speak, somebody is hearing, and every word that you hear per time have an impact in your life, either negatively or positively. And that's the reason I tell people all the time, it's not everyone you listen to. Be careful what you hear all the time. Be careful who you give your ears to. Be careful who you share your moments with. What you have survived qualifies you to speak. What you've learned position you to help other people. You don't need to be a perfect person to be impactful. You don't need perfection to be impactful. That thing you are hiding, that story you are hiding, that idea you are hiding, that inspiration you are hiding could be something that can change somebody's life forever. A lot of us are supposed to be making impacts with our voices, but we are hidden. We are trampled in fear. You need authenticity, as a matter of fact. Let me give you an instance. This is just an illustration. A candle, we all know what a candle is. A candle doesn't just lose light by lighting another candle. All right? You get that. You light a candle, for instance, then you use that candle to light another candle. The first candle that you use in lighting the second candle does not lose its light. That is impact there. It has made impact, but it never affected it in any way. Now, your voice doesn't diminish others. It multiplies impact. That is, I'm talking about a positive voice, all right? A positive voice. Okay, there are some people that if they come and they speak, you hear wisdom. You spend 2 minutes with some persons. When they want to leave, you say, you'll be feeling bad. I wish this person can stay with me a little more time. Because these are people
that their voices multiply impact. Maybe you knew something before. Why am I saying this? Let me establish this. I'm saying all of this so that you know the kind of people you listen to. You know the kind of voices you listen to. And you on your own part should know that your voice needs to be heard. Except you know the import of it, you will just keep quiet where you are supposed to speak. You are not making impact. It doesn't diminish you. If you make impact, it doesn't affect you. But then it lightens somebody's world. Maybe to somebody that is downcasted, somebody that is about committing suicide, somebody who is feeling lonely, just a word from you can make somebody's day. Like I was telling someone some times back, just a smile, good morning, how you doing, can make someone feel big. Exchange of smile. By the time you smile to someone and the person smiles back, you know, it's half a way of making people feel good, of setting people's day, a good pace for people's day. Stop minimizing your stories. Speak, even when your voice is shaky. Share what you know now, all right? Share what you know now. Because maybe by the time you want to speak it the next time, it may not be as valuable as it is when that inspiration comes. All right? When you have the leading to do it, go ahead and do it. Maybe you want to start a business, for instance, and there is someone around you you need to speak to. You know, don't hold it back. If you have the leading to speak to the person, go ahead and do it. Your voice, okay? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, in case you don't know. All right? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, but you may not know that. Okay? Your voice, your own voice, is somebody else's breakthrough. Open your mouth. Speak the truth. Speak it out. The world is waiting for your sound. The world is waiting for your manifestation. The world is waiting for you to let that thing out of you. Especially when you know it's inspiring. Especially when you know it's going to stop someone from maybe committing suicide. Because a lot of people are confused in this generation. They don't even know what to do. And that's why you have a lot of photocopy. We have few originals. A lot of people are duplicates of other people's ideas, of other people's lifestyle, of other people's opinion. But you got a voice. Your voice can shape somebody's destiny forever. What are you waiting for? What are you scared of? Fear has stopped a lot of people from doing so many things, from taking a particular step they need to take. But today, I want to charge you. I want to inspire you. I want to speak to your heart that your voice, there are people today. Let me say this. I think I need to say this because you don't know who is listening to what you're saying. In that meeting, in that gathering, all right, you don't know if your destiny helper is there. Maybe a contribution that you want to make as you're trying to make sense on time, it will give the person by your side, all right, an inspiration, an acumen, okay, to become what they have been planning to be. Your voice might be a witness to what the Spirit is telling them, to what their mind is telling them, to what their instinct is telling them. So speak it out. Stop holding it back. Congratulations, everyone, listening to the sound of my voice right now, because you are a success, going somewhere to happen, a voice that the world will reckon with. And as expectation of a lot of creature is the manifestation of people like you. Go, manifest, voice it out, say it. The truth. You should be known with saying the truth all the time. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
All right. I hope that was an inspiration indeed to help you make the best of today. Right now, we go straight to the newspaper review segment of the show, and we're starting with the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune appears well loaded. Let's go to the very first story, top left corner. It reads, Obi 110 Pact will shortchange Ndibo, and that's coming from presidency. When I hear news from the presidency, I'm wondering who exactly. Is it, what's his name?
It's so confusing. Presidency. Somebody was asking, okay, it was Uyime was asking, say, who is the presidency?
Is it Tinubu himself, or is it Femi Gbajabiamila?
Or Shetima?
Or is it
Shetima or SGF? Or who?
Well, maybe you read page 22 to know who exactly, maybe you can get a clue. Next story, 28 days after duty slash prices of imported vehicles remain high. Investigation, that's coming from an investigative journalist. Let me call that person a journalist. Declares dealers have to sell out old stock. Importers. Details on page 5. Appeal court nullifies order deregistering ADC, Accord, 3 other political parties. So maybe the next point of call will be the Supreme Court. Because they seem to be exploring all the courts, all the apex options. Details on page 4. The Star story reads, Southern Middle Belt leaders insist on South retaining presidency. Back State Police demand new constitution through federalism. Details on page 2. Next story. Repeated currency devaluations deepen poverty. Ex-World Bank chief is the one making this statement, and you'll find it on page 5. We are stabilizing Nigeria, Tinubu tells Catholic bishops. Details on page 13. Again, suspected armed headers killed 15 in Benue. Benue has really suffered.
Well, you wouldn't want to watch that video anyway.
Benue has suffered.
You don't want to watch that video.
Another sad one that we get to see almost every day on the national dailies. We go to health. A story on health. Coffee may help shield the liver from fat, scarring cancer. That's coming from a study. Okay. Oyo government receives 2 security surveillance aircrafts. That's a good one. Detail on page 3. We only sat 4 times in 7 months. Ondo Assembly members reveal. What a revelation. Accuse Speaker of stalling litigative activities. Provide your evidence. Oladiji challenges members. Details on page 22. Well, I think this is what democracy is about. Everybody comes out to say, air their minds so that we can move forward. Finally, APC chairman inaugurates 292 members campaign council for Osun polls. Details on page 22. Says election is litmus tests for ruling party. Uzodinma cautions against sabotage. Those are your headlines for the Nigerian Tribune. Next point of call is the Voice of Liberty newspaper.
All right, let's listen to the Voice of Liberty. A newspaper this morning, 2027, Cardinal Governor Sani picks Jerry Adams as running mate. 2027 again, polls must be decided by Nigerians, not courts. Atiku is the one saying that. That would be the best thing that would happen to Nigeria. And of course, the INEC. As a matter of fact, if the election is free and fair and no one goes to court. APC defection shake NDC as party appeals to Hanga Gaya to stay. Now, the Star story says appeal court overturns decision on the registration of ADC and 4 others. We'll talk about that much later. Play 2. Mopol officer alleged 7 months allowance delay. Dangote is set to donate 1/3 of his $35.1 billion fortune to charity. Wow. Umahi threatened our president over 20 billion naira Mary Habila death lawsuit. So Kapu alleges. Right, that case is still there. The Umahi's case, I don't know. But I think the authorities are still looking at that story. A lot of people are pushing for autopsy and investigation. We've not heard anything whether the autopsy has been conducted. They said the father said no, he's not interested. But then some persons are saying for the sanity of the integrity of our minister and this administration, that needs to be done. But then we don't know what's delaying the process. Would it be done? Would it not be done? Details will come up much later when the story unfolds. And these are the headlines from the Voice of Liberty this morning as we move to the Punch newspaper.
Thank you very much, Ramsey. The Punch newspaper has its first story, top left corner above the nameplate. Appeal Court restores ADC Atiku, Mark Adeleke celebrates. Congratulations again to them. Details on page 9. Or is that page 8? Page 8, I beg your pardon. Police silent as reps ultimatum on fake agency DG expires today. Well, there obviously is a lot happening behind the scene that we do not know. You cannot know, and not everyone is privy to every information and everything happening. But they say the truth will always prevail. I don't know how soon, but we keep our fingers crossed as things unfold. Read up details of that story on page 28. EFCC faces credibility questions over asset auction. Details on page 9. 2027, Tinubu challenges rivals. Vow fights to finish. Details on page 8. The Star story reads, federal government overshoots borrowing limit as new debt reaches 12.62 trillion naira. About 3 riders to that. First one, government misses revenue targets by 4.9 trillion naira despite higher non-oil earnings. Budget deficit balloons by 47% above projection. Fresh loans bankrolled 36% of 2024 spending budget, office reports. Tinubu orders security chiefs to fish out Kaduna killers. Again, another order. Details on page 17. US-Iran war. Nigeria tops Africa in oil price surge. Are we talking about oil price surge? Well, details on page 22. State police. Governors must control CPS. Southern Middle Belt leaders insist. This is on page 17. What is state police without the governors controlling it, for heaven's sake? It's called the state police so that the state governors will be
when they say control, I think it's relative. And that word control by governors is relative. Not to be taken advantage of, not to be used. You know, I don't want to use certain words on air, but then I think there are going to be regulations and there are going to be monitoring, probably from the federal government. But then I still keep asking questions. If our FAC allocation cannot be monitored and people held accountable for it, well, how much more the state police when there is inducement? There are inducements, all right, here and there in Nigeria. And, you know, people fall for this inducement, for this corruption because of the economy of the nation, which is not an excuse anyway, all right? You wouldn't say you want to fall for a particular corrupt practice because you are limited economically. Maybe you don't have the finances. Maybe somebody want to give you a Mercedes Benz that you've not driven all your life, may not even have a car. So whatever it is, let the state police be able to cope the security situation.
Exactly, that is the focus. The focus is not on control. I know that structures need to be set in place, but people are dying, and that should be the focus of the conversation. Well, next story. Collapsed building, 3 dead, 12 rescued as Ogun begins probe. Details on page 4 and 5. Finally, Makinde unveils 2 new surveillance aircrafts to combat insecurity. Details on page 17. This is a welcome development, and I think every state should emulate this. Those are your headlines for the Punch newspaper. Next point of call is the Guardian newspaper, and Ramsey takes us through it.
When you say every state we need to do, that's something kept in my mind. And what is it? We have states in Nigeria that couldn't pay salaries. We have states in Nigeria that could not pay minimum wage. And we have states in Nigeria that cannot until now generate power by themselves, despite the fact that it's been decentralized. Every state can actually generate power themselves, even as Rock has left our national grid. So you know, all of these things depends on the individual. If a state can do this, then the country should be able to do much more. Well, those are the headlines from there. Let's move to the next paper as we bring you some other very striking headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. On the Guardian newspaper, we have, of course, some stories above below the nameplate. Tinubu orders manhunt as Northern elders decry fresh killings in region 2027. Afenifere Ohanaeze, Middle Belt, Pandef forge fresh alliance. 9 million lack access to HIV treatment as new infections arise, says WHO. You know, a lot of people were saying if US is withdrawing their aid as it has to do with HIV, malaria is going to be a problem. I've done an intervention before with a non-governmental organization on malaria treatment and prevention. And it will amaze you what people are facing in the hinterlands. Well, we just wanted government to do something because we're talking about health here. Now the big story on the Guardian newspaper. The big story says gubernatorial candidates, parties unsettled by running mates hurdles. Opposition hails ruling as appeal court voiced the registration restores ADC for others. Lagos state government moves to tighten safety standards for high-rise buildings. Malpass. Collateral-backed borrowing may complicate Nigeria's debt restructuring. 2 surveillance aircraft arrive in Ibadan to enhance statewide security. That's very beautiful. Federal government to spend 46 billion naira on Kano Airport runway reconstruction. And you see the picture of the Minister of Aviation right there. All right, everyone. This is the size of the conversation for you. Of course, from the Guardian newspaper, the review, I beg your pardon, that's the size of the newspaper review. From the Guardian now, we move to The Nation.
Okay, The Nation newspaper. Let's get straight to it. Okay, so The Nation newspaper has the first story above the nameplate, and it reads, ADC appeal court verdict voiding order to deregister parties. Details on page 5. 18 killed in Benue, Taraba communities. Alia alarmed. Details on page 51. Star story, xenophobia. Federal government demands justice from South Africa. Erikanolaye briefs president on meeting with Ramaphosa's special envoy.
That is Minister for State, Foreign Affairs.
Oh, great. Osun 2026, Oni to INEC, ensure free and fair election. Ede Monarch, rally support for governor. Oyebanji will defeat Adeleke, Yilwatda, Uzodinma declare. Okay. INEC neutral, fair to all parties, says Tinubu. President hosts Catholic bishops. E-payment penetration drops cash outside banks to 4.92 trillion naira. Well, Osun is a very interesting state. is one of the very interesting states in Nigeria. I mean, noticeably interesting because of the dancing governor and the fact that the governor is an uncle to Davido, right? So it just always creates
At least I know
whenever,
this one.
whenever there's an election in Osun State, you just know that it's a family affair. One of the most prominent families in Nigeria. So you know,
in Osun State.
No, in Nigeria, Davido's family.
Because of Davido's
family,
they are delicates.
One of the prominent families in Nigeria. Yeah. So this contest is definitely a tough one. Yes, it's going to be a tough one. But I mean, wish all the contestants the very best and let the best man win. Of course, all we want is a free and a fair election. But those are your headlines for the Nation newspaper. The next point of call is let's go to the Hope newspaper. Maybe we'll come back to sports.
All right. Let's see how many hope we will get from the Hope newspaper this morning. On the Hope newspaper this morning, we have some very striking headlines for you. And of course, beginning from the Star story, First Lady tackles hunger, malnutrition with community food banks. Some writers to that story, food outreach reflects Tinubu's anti-poverty drive, says, all right, Aiyedatiwa is the one saying that speech is attributed to Aiyedatiwa. No vulnerable residents will be forgotten. Ondo governor's wife is the one saying that. Osun governorship, Oni task INEC on credible poll, condemns rising tension. And of course, one rider to that story, as Amopitan warns political actors against unlawful conduct, expresses commission's readiness. Okay. Of course, the president just talked about how credible the election is going to be in 2027, speaking out loud for INEC, probably to exonerate himself from anything, because that's a statement to mean that he is also in support of free, fair, and credible election. Finally, from the Hope newspaper this morning, below, all right, down the footer, Ondo, many residents unaware of hepatitis status, health officials warn. All right. These are the headlines for you today on the national dailies. I would like to inform all of us, as usual, that Global Television does not have editorial contribution to any of these headlines. It's entirely that of the various newspaper houses and their editors. Now, we'll bring you Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mobuno.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Erojim. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Nigerians and viewers around the world, it's time to buzz on the issues making the rounds on social media. Today we're looking at body of fresh graduates recovered from collapsed hostel in Anambra State. 2 bodies, a male and a female, have so far been recovered from the rubble of the collapsed Elite 5-star hostel in Amokbala near the Federal Polytechnic Oko in Orumba North local government area of Anambra State. The building, which had about 60 rooms carved in On Sunday night, July 26, 2026, the female victim was identified by friends as Vivian Chinedum, a baker and a fresh graduate of the Department of Food Science and Technology, Federal Polytechnic, Oko. According to Anambra State Broadcasting Service, ABS, friends said Vivian moved into the hostel in March 2026, recounting the moments leading to the collapse. Some occupants of the building, who are also students of the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, said there were warning signs before the tragedy. One of the survivors, Grace Mweke, explained that at about 10 p.m. on Sunday, July 26, 2026, a food vendor in the building alerted residents through their WhatsApp group that the walls of the hostels were cracking. She said that before many of the occupants could fully grasp the seriousness of the warning, they had loud cracking sounds and immediately fled for safety. Grace, who moved into the hostel in January 2026, said she had no idea the building was structurally unsafe until the incident occurred. She added that they later learned that the previous occupant had allegedly been directed to vacate the building because of its deteriorating condition. However, the caretaker reportedly went ahead to rent the premises to unsuspecting students. So bad right there. Let's take a look at some comments from social media as regards this topic. And the first comment here is from Health Code Global. And Health Code says, this tragedy was 100% preventable. It's infuriating that we treat warnings as suggestions. In public health, we always say prevention is better than cure, but there is no cure for this level of negligence. If you're living in a building with cracks, you aren't just at risk of a collapse. You are suffering from chronic anxiety that ruins your health daily. Why are we okay with this? Alright, the next comment is also from the same person. I think she wasn't done, and she said, the most disturbing part of this isn't just the collapse, it's that occupants noticed crack and stayed. We have a culture of managing life-threatening situations until they become fatal. From a psychological health perspective, this normalization of unsafe environment is what keeps us in danger. We need to stop praying over structural hazard and start reporting them like clinical symptoms. Who is actually regulating these structures? All right, thank you everyone, which is Health Code Global, for dropping your thoughts. Yes, we just had to take just those 2 thoughts for the sake of our time this morning. And I really feel bad for that young girl and the young man who actually lost their life. I don't know if those are the only persons so far, but this is what we've heard so far as at the time of this report. And again, you know, when we read through it and we saw that they already asked the former tenants to vacate this particular building. But then, you know what greed causes? This is one of the causes of greed. When caretaker said, no, he's going to put in new tenants. And this young person just graduated this same month, July, and she lost her life this month. It's really heartbreaking, very, very heartbreaking. Well, I'm not alone today in the studio. I am with Priscilla Obas, because she's the best person when it comes to education and things like this. You know, I always bring you professionals. So good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Ogochukwu.
How are you doing?
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Yes, we missed you so much on the show. All right, we're talking about the Federal Polytechnic Oko hazard, you know, that happened in Anambra State, and it's so bad that we still get to see things happen like this. We see buildings collapsing after several warning signs, and it's so bad. Someone just talked about regulating. Who is regulating this structure? I think that was one of the last comments we just read about regulating the structures. Who exactly is regulating structures, buildings like this? When you see buildings old, all looking one at one happened in Lagos. This same hostel issue. People build hostels. Sometimes they build it with just less materials, or like say materials that are not really up to standards, because they just tell themselves students that are coming in. Students are also human beings. They are not animals. Even if they are animals, you get to protect these people. So what exactly is going on, and who is regulating these structures?
Well, another sad situation here. And like people would always bring me, Nigeria never happened to you, because this is clearly Nigeria happening to somebody, somebody's sister, someone's loved one. And I'm sure there were more people that died in that incident, because this looks like a fresh, recovered body. It's really sad. I don't know how we got here. I mean, over the week, I received a letter in my house from the Buhari Area Council.
Okay.
A tenement agreement or whatever it is. Said they called it a tenement rate demand notice.
Okay.
And it is something that they said they are giving to houses to pay. You know,
are they giving it to tenants or to landlords of those houses?
They're giving it to tenants.
Not landlords.
Not landlords.
Okay.
I don't know if they are supposed to give it to landlords and maybe the landlord directed them to give it to us.
Tenants.
I don't know. But they brought it and gave it flat by flat and say you guys are supposed to pay a tax on top of the rent.
Rent, an agent fee, and caution fee, and all of that.
So,
okay.
Like, imagine I'm asking, how many times have you guys come here to check this building to see that everything is fine? How many times have you guys come here to regulate things and ask, "Hey guys, what is happening in this place? Is everything okay? Are you guys having a good time with your landlord? What's the rent like? What's the increment like? Is there anything abnormal going on here?" How many times do we get all of these regulations? How many times do we get all of this, inspections from government agencies? But the first time we're ever having any kind of conversation with them is there's a tax on a house. It's not an office. It was the first time I'm hearing it though. It's not an office. And if at all anyone's supposed to pay for that, I believe it should be directed to landlords. But coming to give it directly to a tenant was quite shocking to me. And I'm still in awe.
I've always known that they come with all of this agreement, but not for tenants.
Exactly.
It's always directed to the landlord.
Exactly. And they gave a 3 weeks ultimatum.
Apartment, okay.
And in 3
weeks ultimatum to provide which money from where?
To pay a sum of almost per flat. We have about 12 flats. Per flat, almost 50,000 naira.
Can you
per flat?
Where is that money going to?
Well, they say it's a tax for the
for what?
These people have never checked the houses. These people have never come to know if every condition of that house is okay. They have never come to inspect to see that
the flat has water or light.
Exactly. They never come to see whether any wall is cracking because it's a 2-story building. Do you understand? The first thing is some kind of billing, and I'm like, God, this country, are we not a joke?
I think we are just so after money more than the lives of people.
Are we not a joke?
Nobody cares. Nobody really cares about you. That's what I really notice in Nigeria. Nobody really cares. Nobody give a damn about whatever that's happening to you. They don't want to care. If you die, you see a lot of persons coming to post, "Oh, rest in peace. Oh, we wish." Oh, they now say good things about you. But nobody wants to really know how you are feeling.
What's the condition?
Their heart, they don't really want to know.
They don't care.
Maybe your parents will do that for you, but you see, an average Nigerian right now, I don't even know where we do not have any form of empathy anymore in us. We don't have any thoughts, any sympathizing thoughts. Like, we are just there working like that without thinking, without feelings, no feeling. Because tell me why you come, give every flat, each flat. You say you have how many flats again in that building? 12 flats, a payment of 50,000 naira to do what? Why am I paying 50,000 naira?
So done in 3 weeks.
Why exactly? The question should be, why am I paying 50,000 naira? Was it stated in the letter why you were paying 50,000 naira? If they said it was for tax, why are you taxing me? You are taxing me based on that I paid my rent in this building.
I am paying my light bills.
It is supposed to be per building, the land space.
Exactly.
Per apartment.
So these are the anomalies we have in the country. Now look at this building now. This building clearly was situated in a public space. I don't know how many government regulation agencies that are supposed to be in charge of it had come to look at it and give a stern warning to the owners of that property.
Or even mark it.
Yes. No, what they say is that when you're trying to set up a structure, they say, these people are trying to grow. Let's go and tax them. Then you come, they now tax you. But things like this that they should notice, they would give a blind eye to it, a deaf ear to it. The only time you see them active is when it's time to bill. This is the kind of country we live in, and we say we have leaders. We say we have parastatals in charge. We say we have government agencies that have been put in place. We say we have people that have been put in place to monitor and regulate properties and lives. Yes, we lose people every single day to incidences like that can be avoided.
Prevented. 100% prevented. I really feel so bad. I feel very terrible when it comes to this situation. When I heard this situation, I felt very bad because this is a young graduate. This is someone who already has so much ahead of her. This is a business person who knows if she struggles because she has a business here in Oku. Who knows how she struggled to make sure she gets to this point. And because one person is greedy, the person, after they said evacuate the building, the person said, no, I am putting in tenant. Why? Because they know that this tenant do not know what's happening in their house. Very, very sad. Please, let's take a look at the buildings we are always entering. Whenever you pay for a building or you're about to park into
ask questions. Ask people around that environment.
And also look at the building thoroughly. Check properly. If you know you can't check, you don't know the fault, please call in a third or a second eye to look at the building and help you check what exactly is wrong with that building so you know if you're going to live there or not. It is very easy. It's a tragic incident that nobody really wants to, be part of. Well, thank you so much once again, Priscilla, for your contribution to today's topic. And I hope that we get to see people who regulate these structures. We really want to know them. People who regulate structures in the Federal Capital Territory and also every other state in Nigeria, so that we know that we don't keep having a reputation of this kind of incident. Is really a sad one right there. Well, this is where we close the curtains for today on Social Buzz on Global Morning. I'll be leaving in the hands of Ramsey and Priscilla as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. So once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. I am Ogochukumobino. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
collapsed buildings. Now, the first conversation for you this morning, and we need to look at the insecurity in our country. We talked about it briefly during our introduction. It gets deteriorating every day. Does it mean we have some lacuna in our architecture, our security architecture? Can you imagine the number of lives that has been lost in Nigeria? Security officers inclusive. Where are we heading to? Remember, 2027 is even around the corner. People may be traveling, but then how secured is the country? What's this administration's effort? We'll be looking at all of this at the course of our conversation today. And to drive this conversation with us, we have a security expert who is also a senior programs officer with a Clean Foundation in the person of Olaniyi Olumayowa. Olumayowa. I love that name. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And thank you for having me.
It's good to have you join us on the program this morning. Let's begin to drive the conversation. As it is, just a few days ago, if you look at the papers today, you'll see that a very senior officer in the military actually lost his life when he was trying to resist being abducted, and he was unalived and the family taken away. This is a security operative, not an average Nigerian yet, an intelligence officer in the military, of course. So with all of this, what message does this kind of attack, all right, pass to Nigerians as it has to do with this insecurity that is facing us? Like, there's no one face to face with it.
Yeah, again, thank you for having me, and good morning, everybody listening. I think the primary message that is trying to sell to Nigerians is a message of fear, put everybody on panic mode. And of course, it doesn't mean that we are not faced with the reality of insecurity in the country. But first off is that this is one of the strategies, the methodologies for bandits, for insurrectionists, for terrorists, if you like. One of the things they like to put out, firstly, is fear. And how would they be able to make sure that that is done is if they go after people who we perceive to be higher than us or safer than us. They go after them. And if, like you just mentioned, now you are reading on the pages of the newspaper and you see the kind of person who was actually killed, it sends a message to you immediately to say, oh, am I safe? That exactly is the message. That exactly is the intention for doing such things. But again, it doesn't remove the reality that there's a lot of insecurity in the country right now. It doesn't.
And well, of course, it sends that message. So the problem or the question is, what are we doing about it? These people are successfully passing their message, instilling fear in the heart of Nigerians. And it's not just the fact that they're instilling fear. They're going about also perpetrating dangerous acts, even to the common man. So it's not as if they are doing this to, those high-level personalities and leaving out the common man. Everybody at this point is at risk. Everybody's a victim. What have we done? How would you assess our security architecture since the coming of, the current chief of defense staff, even to the previous, and every personality that this current administration have tried to change to ensure that, okay, we get it right? How would you assess the progress so far and the jobs they have been doing? That's
a serious question. But I think the way we should look at it is that it's something that is evolving, just like what the crime or the insecurity itself is also evolving. One of the steps that was taken recently was that of increasing the number of divisions that the Nigerian Army runs and increasing the number of personnel by 28,000 and then increasing by an extra 4. Does that help us? In some way it can. But again, oftentimes when we talk about insecurity, we like to discuss it in silo. Insecurity oftentimes is an offshoot of something. Oftentimes you can see it as a symptom to a bigger problem. So while we discuss the symptoms and keep complaining, oh, there's insecurity, oh, somebody was killed, oh, that happened, if we do not address the underlying factor, such things are bound to continue. So for instance, you talk about kidnapping. Kidnapping is a business. People won't do kidnapping if there is an alternative to livelihood for them. Part of the reasons why a lot of people will go into that could be socioeconomic reasons. So if those underlying factors are not dealt with, and all that we talk about are the numbers, are the incidents, or we increase a particular percentage of security personnel, or we rework security architecture and not deal with the substantial issue, the underlying ailment in quotes, we won't get the kind of result that we desire. We'll just keep running around the circle. And I think that's what we've been doing for a while. If these other underlying factors are not dealt with, if we are not able to get hold of the socioeconomic issues that are triggers to some of these issues that we are seeing, which are symptomatic, we'll just keep running around the bush.
Let us break it. What are the underlying issues that you spell out? The socioeconomic issues that you spell out. Let us spell it out. And how can we better address it?
So that we know what to do. The problem known is half solved.
Is half solved.
I'm not claiming it.
Exactly. I think part of the socioeconomic issues that we naturally face in this country. You talk about youth bulge and you talk about unemployment. You are having youth bulge on one side, and on the other side of it, you have very high rate of unemployment. Or you have, even underemployment is still a threat to some extent. Is to say that the person is employed, but he's not gainfully employed. There's no satisfaction that comes with it. So there's always like the eagerness to want to go and try something outside. That person can, in quotes, yield to temptation. So those are socioeconomic issues. You are talking about out-of-school children. These are fertile ground that can be borrowed by terrorists, like we have in the Northeast. We have a lot of that across the country. So if we do not resolve all of these issues, and of course, we must admit to the fact that it can take a lot of time to do that. But if we do not resolve these issues, and we think it's by increasing number or creating state police or creating more divisions that will solve our problem, we might just be deceiving.
So you don't think state police will solve our problem?
Yes, you mean...
oh, sorry, I mentioned that.
What do you think of this? Because a lot of people have said so many things, some persons are saying...
Unfortunately...
This morning we're talking about it, that the governors may hijack it and use it to their advantage as politicians.
I will speak from both mouths, both sides of the mouth.
Please do.
I think we should not continue to live in fear of how they will hijack it. It has always been there. So it's a self-deceit to say, we want a near-perfect angelic system. It's not going to work, so that's not even the issue. But state police or creation of or decentralization of the police is not a silver bullet to all the problems that we have in the country. It's just not. It's not.
It cannot, if used...
Why are you blaming the police for the problem they did not create? Why? Why are you holding them responsible? That is the centralization of that institution that has caused our problem. Why?
No, I'm not saying it has caused it. I'm saying they can help us solve it. At least
no, it's because we have seen lag in the current centralized system. And we have pointed at them, are they being you here? Or are they being you were there? These wouldn't have happened. Why are we holding them responsible for instance, socioeconomic problems?
So those are the issues.
Those are the issues. We need to solve some of these problems, or else we'll come back and you still invite me, I will come and discuss the same.
But the people that are perpetrating these acts, they are not Nigerians, as far as we know.
Oh,
most of them.
Okay. You have added an adjective that. Most of them.
Yeah, most of them. Most of them.
Because it's going to be difficult to say that all of them are not Nigerians.
They can't even operate without an insider.
Exactly. You need somebody inside to give you a blueprint of what is going on inside that place, like we saw in the almost every other cases that we've solved in this country, including the one in Oyo. If you don't have an insider, it's difficult for you an outsider to just come into a place. He doesn't know the exit route.
You think it's the jobless ones that are giving them this insight? Because they say these things are politicized. People have come out to push every kind of propaganda.
We should, when we want to talk about insecurity, we should squarely face it, discuss insecurity, and not try to mix it up with it's politics. No.
So it's not politics.
People have lost their lives. Let's deal with people losing their lives and not add the flavor of politics to it. We should be more concerned.
I'm spelling out politics because you say it's a socio-economic.
Yeah, it's socio-economic. It's governance issue.
Governance issue.
Because it's governance that will lead to socio-economic.
Yes. So when the narrative of this insecurity being politicized is being pushed, and people saying politicians.
I get that sense.
Have to say we know the
I get that sense. And because opposition
and all of that.
It's competition. Everybody is trying to milk something. So they see a bad news. Opposition wants to milk it for its own advantage. They say, oh, see what is going on. If you vote for me, you see I will not allow can do better than what this person is doing. That's the politicization of some of these issues. But it doesn't remove the fact that these issues are there. Yeah, it's just that from my own personal perspective, I just think politicians also need to be smart and be human. And they want to milk it to the extent that it's sometimes seems as if the life of the individuals who were lost in such really count. That's the problem.
Like it's happening in Benue State, right?
Like it's happening in Benue or any other place. So it's that assumption, it's that extreme level where politicians feel, oh, it doesn't really count. Or they milk to the extent that the substantive issue there is lost in politicizing it.
The reason why some people...
You've asked me about state police and I've not completed it.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead. Finish the issue of state police.
So I said that my opinion is that state police is not a silver bullet. It's not automatic. And of course, there are so many other issues surrounding state police that has not been resolved that we don't even know where to put it. What we have right now is the legal battle at the National Assembly. Of course, it will go to, I think it has gone to the State Assembly, State Houses of Assembly. They need to also sit and look at it and ratify, send it back before it goes to the President for assent. It will eventually go. It will go there. But what are the mechanisms? What are the structures that we have on ground that can help us achieve whatever we think we want to achieve by decentralizing? But as it is right now, it's just, and again, looking at one of the factors, which funding is critical. I think a lot of us, when we hear police, we just think maybe they will just pay them salary. There's more to police work than paying salary or paying them salary. They need training, they need retraining, they need ammunition, they need arms. And it's not 1 naira, it's not 2 naira, it's not 3 naira. These are essential services that you cannot close your eyes and say, can't you people just wait until next month? If we have a better idea, we can look at that. It's not something you do like that. How many states in this country can boldly come out to say that they want to sponsor such a thing? Very few of them. Very, very few.
Do you think it's time we reach out to even individuals within the country?
Remember, if you do that again, you are sending the police to those individuals because they dictate what happens to your police.
Because they are sponsors.
Because they are sponsors.
So now, we're talking about state policing now because of the security situation in the country. Now, we just talked about a senior intelligence officer that was taken out. Nigerians, right, as a whole now, security, if you don't have maybe an ordinary security, these ones they put at the gate, some have police, some have even military guiding them, but they are not safe as it is. All right, so now what do you think needs to be done as it has to do with intelligence? I'm saying this because Ude was killed, all right, and Ude is an intelligence officer. When you take out one military intelligence officer, you know what it means because of the training, what has been spent and their value. So right now, the way it's going, what do you think needs to be done? Because it's like, this looks more like a target or some form of it. I don't know. So what would you think can be done, at least, we lost a lot of generals.
Yeah, we have. We've lost a lot of investment because
investments.
Yeah, it's investment.
Yeah, sure.
Years of training, the expectation of a give back, and that when such a person occupies a particular position, the kind of wealth of experience the person can bring back. We've lost a lot of that, unfortunately. But speaking to the issue of intelligence, let me put it this way. So firstly, on public safety and security, the intelligence that comes from that, it's supposed to be interwoven in the sense that all of these agencies are supposed to work together. You've only mentioned the military. DSS is also an intelligence organization. NIA is an intelligence organization. DMI, defense, is it military intelligence is an organization. All of them are supposed to work as a team. But one of the problems that we've always had, and I think it's still there even if it's not published or as pronounced as before, is interagency rivalry, which allows for break in transmission, you know. Oftentimes, they also have distrust, agency to agency, like I don't trust these guys, I don't trust these guys. So some of these things are supposed to go around. Problem. It's a big problem. It's a very big problem. If we've been following all that has been happening within the security framework and the architecture of the country, not now, maybe over a decade ago, you would see that it has been a consistent challenge where agencies don't trust each other. So I think it's a big problem that we need to deal with. But where does intelligence come from? Intelligence comes from the people. So if we do not also build that trust between members of the public and all of these outfits, it's going to be difficult for the intelligence agencies to do anything or to have an headway.
Are you sure it's easy to build confidence? Because
trust
and confidence.
Trust and confidence can be slightly different.
Okay.
It's when you trust a person that you eventually have
confidence in. That's
so the problem we have now is that we don't even have trust.
Not to talk of confidence.
Before you go to
confidence.
So
Nigerians having trust
Nigerians, Nigerians, yes. Of course. Because if you talk about a policeman now, if you bring 10 people, they'll say different things about a police officer, a federal police officer, based on their
we have already decentralized the Nigerian police. You say federal police officer.
Yes, because the ones at the center right now, okay, they are the federal state police. But as it is, with all of this, the reason why I just punctuated that it's a big problem is you always be told the police is your friend. But Nigerians don't see the police officers as their friends because of experience. We see these things happening every day. Then you talked about the issue of even the agencies trusting themselves, which is a more bigger problem. Because it means we are not fighting one cause.
And permits me to say,
what do we do?
It's because we are just talking about the security agencies and the architecture. Beyond them, I don't think you can have 3-4 institutions of government that really trust each other in this country. So it's a big problem. And there was a time that people were advocating for a fusion center where all of this apparatus, all of these agencies are meshed into one. They all sit on the same table, see exactly what, if there's something coming to my sister here, I'm also seeing it. And then if I'm the one to act upon it, I can be told at that point that, oh, please act on this. And then I will come back to say we. But for the fact that most of these agencies also need self-glory to say, hi, I did it, or we did it, they would rather want to go for the hi than to go for the we. I think a very good example I can cite for that was the case of Wadume. You recall? The notorious kidnapper in Taraba that was arrested, that became a tussle between the police and the military on who arrested.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's the main goal. The main goal is arrest him. But the challenge is who arrested him. And then police will say, I did, and then the military came out and say, no, you did not, we did. You know, so that kind of tussle is always there. And of course, to speak to the issue of trust from the side of the public is that it's legitimacy. The power to operate as either police or the military actually resides in us, the public, because we are the ones who legitimize their operations. So if we do not see that trust, it affects legitimacy, and that's why in a sample of maybe like 10 people, you ask them about the police, the report you will get from that is that it's negative, almost always negative. That doesn't mean that they've had one-on-one experience with the police. They might not have met any police officer in their life. But because somebody told them that I met somebody, or my friend, or a cousin, that is what we go around.
Or video on social media.
Yes, or a video on social media. There are good police officers and there are very bad ones too. But the issue about it is that if they also fold their arms and just waiting for that kind of perception to continue and not look for a way to also remake their own image and also sell themselves where they are also doing good, it's going to be difficult for any Nigerian to believe or to see any good in them at the end of the day.
They need to be intentional with the publicity.
Yes, yeah, they need to showcase what the good things that they are doing.
And who is to do that?
The institution.
The institution.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about these institutions. We've had a lot of cases of leaking information. Oh, I called my men that I'm here, and instead of my men to arrive, other people came and took, all right. We just heard that a soldier was being arrested, escaping to Cameroon because he was selling uniform. And you go on our highways today, you see
a lot of uniforms.
So you don't even know which is a checkpoint, which is a security checkpoint, which is a terrorist. And the worst aspect of it is that even the real military officers, the security officers who are doing the right thing, you see some of them not even in uniform. You can't even identify them. Some cover their names and all of that. Some even dress, not like a military officer. The only thing you just see is they hang a gun and you see them interrogating people and all of that. Then you come to the issue of search people's phone and all of that. This leakage of information and not being committed to duty, selling out your own country as somebody who has taken an oath or who has been recruited into the security agency. How did we get here?
I think all of us, firstly, needs to be very patriotic. We had no choice of where we were born. We only got into this world to even know that there's a world to start with. So we also need to be very patriotic. And that goes to personnel in any of the security outfits. That's one. Number two is that I think the hierarchy also needs to look at their communication channel, how secure it is, or is it? Your example is not the only one. We remember that other general, that brigadier general, who unfortunately died in the hands of Boko Haram in the northeast. Again, these are some examples of some of these losses that we have received lately, which is very bad. So communication channel needs to be checked. They also need to know what exactly they are saying, from where and how. If you are trying to send out an SOS, and then your enemy that you are trying to run away from is also receiving the SOS, so what's the essence? It's as good as just coming out to voluntarily give yourself to them. So we've seen a record of that. So I think it's important that Nigeria step up in terms of the kind of communication and how the medium, the channel through which they pass. Is it at a level that another person can key into it and can infiltrate and start to listen to conversations? I don't want to use wiretap because we know what has become of wiretap in this country. But that they can also loop into what you are discussing and hear very sensitive information, like you want to save someone, and then they can hear that. I think the military leadership needs to pay very close attention to what we do about signals and, of course, the way they pass information across.
So you've actually said a lot. All the while, I have actually wondered how advanced we are technologically. We see these bandits every now and then on TikTok making videos, more like shaming, humiliating our security architecture, because that's a slap on our faces, if you ask me. So we see all of these things happen, right? And in my mind, I'm wondering, is it that we don't have the an up-to-date technology to tackle these things? Is it that we are so backlead? And I said, I don't want to believe it, because we're talking about the wiretapping right now. We have a politician that came on air to say, boldly say he could wiretap. You get a conversation. It means that there's so much technology advancement.
Why are we not using it?
That is available to these guys. I don't know whether he.
They don't have drone. Did you see that video? Exactly. That they were flying drone to check if anybody is coming. The drone was flying and they were done. The drone was just like a security watch. You're flying on the head, right? They're doing their thing.
So all of these things, I'm wondering. If I don't want to believe that we don't have.
Exactly.
I don't want to believe we don't have it.
Exactly.
I want to believe it's more of trying to have our human relation intact, the synergy we need, interagency and intermilitary synergy that is not there, and all of this. But then But then again, I still want to believe that there's a loophole somewhere, even in our technology architecture.
We are not at the best. We are not at the very top, but we do have some things. Recent arrests by DSS will tell you that we actually have some things. I think the question we should be asking is, are we using it always? How often do we use it? A good example, the Orire in Oyo State, the kidnap. If whatever we had is true, and of course I think it came from the presidency too, that they had to pick some of the family members of these guys. How were they able to do it? It's because we have some level of technology. In terms of drone that these boys, these bandits or these terrorists use, I think we need to understand that some of them are also having support from outside the country, because they've all paid allegiance to one other group or the other, ISWAP. ISWAP has paid allegiance to ISIS. So some of these technological support that you will see, or some of the technology used by the ISIS, there's I don't want to say guarantee, but there's a chance, a probability that can also be used by ISWAP, because they are all under the same flag. So basically what I'm saying is that I will not say that we do not have, but we can do a lot more with the kind of technology that we use. It's recently now that we also have security personnel from Nigeria also go around with their own, especially the military in the northeast, go with their own drone, just to check and to be certain that they are not running into ambush. We weren't doing that before. Now we have highs above that helps the ground troop to do whatever they want to do, which provides some layer of safety, you know. But is it the best? No, I can't say it's the best. Do we have opportunity to do more? Absolutely, we have opportunity to do much more. Especially these kidnappers, these bandits that brandish money collected from ransom, you know. I think there are ways that the intelligence agencies in this country can actually put an end to that. So, like I said, I think the question we should be asking is, how often do we use, even the little that we have, how often do we use it?
No, all right. The issue of taking the attack on our military officers, I still want to go back to that a little bit. Yeah. How do you think, all right, that can be mitigated and its influence? Because we still have men on the field today, tomorrow, forever. You know, we've seen some of them even being declared a war. Some run away, you know, some will just say, oh, we don't have enough equipment, you know, on social media and all of these things. Then we are seeing these ones happening again. Not to rank and file, not to, but people who have, you know, other rank and file officers around them, their lives are still being taken. What impact do you think it will have in our pursuit on this tackling of insecurity?
You know, firstly, we've spoken about investment. That's an investment lost. Imagine the number of years that guy has been trained. Imagine the places he has gone to or been to for training. Imagine the knowledge that he has that he can share with others. All of those gone completely. That's a very serious impact on, and of course, it also affects the morale of men who are with him too, or who are, especially maybe those within his own unit, and they certainly see that their boss or their officer was taken out just like that. You know, it affects their morale. So overall, I think it affects both the war against insecurity, and of course, it affects our preparedness as a people. Is there a way we can mitigate? I actually believe that there's a way we can mitigate all of this. One of the ways in football, permits me to debate. Sure. In football, they will say that the best form of defense is attack. And I think that's the philosophy that we need to borrow. The best form of mitigation plan is to bombard, attack as much as you can, because that's the only guarantee that you have that you are safe. If you are always at the receiving end before you respond, it might be very difficult for you to nip it at the bud or to stop it completely. But like I said, the philosophy is the best form of defense is to attack. So until we become very offensive, I think lately we've been offensive. The doctrine, I think, has changed a bit, but we can do much more. We can become more offensive than anyhow we've been in a couple of maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
All right. Well, I don't know, but I think the administration, okay, finally, let me just ask you, what's your assessment of this administration's approach to tackling insecurity as a whole? I don't want to go political anymore because you say we should separate politics from security.
So I think taking some steps. Is to see the yield in a couple of years. If it's for platform in terms of weaponry or equipment, I think Nigeria is to receive some as we speak. The Air Force just checked one of the platforms that they want to buy, a couple of maybe like 4 thereabouts. I can't really remember the number. These are things that can help us in the fight against insurgency. The collaboration that Nigeria opened up to with the U.S. government has helped us already.
Is it really helping us?
It has helped us. I'm using past tense because they technically left, but it has helped us, especially in the area of reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. It has helped. We can't shy away from that fact.
Sure.
Because if you look at the number when they came in and prior their arrival, you will see a stark difference. At some point it was low, but by the time they joined and now even up to date, you will see an increase in the way that our military responds to some of these issues. It's a little better. So I think that has helped them. But again, I think fighting insecurity is not the only thing. It should also go with socioeconomic ramifications. So both has to go hand in hand. Another thing that they've done, a lot of us have cried and advocated for decentralization of the police. So they're about to give us that. That's why I said we will have to maybe wait a while to see the fruits or the yield from such decisions. So we'll keep watching if it works and if it doesn't work. Unfortunately, what is there is that if it doesn't work, we can't reverse. We have to stay there and find a way to make it work.
And that's the problem.
So we'll have to do that. Lastly is to say that there are a couple of things that they can do more.
Okay.
They are trying to incentivize the personnel to boost their morale. It's good. But I don't think it should be for the military alone. I just read recently that with the new divisions that the federal government has approved, there's also talks for them to increase the salary of military personnel in the country. Yes. And I'm saying, no. They're not the only ones fighting this war. Others need to be affected too. Because if it's done to one and not done to others, it should be the one that has have increased. And
let it not be as if one is being regarded as the boss and you are being...
And then you see, again, how we also unintentionally, out of trying to do something, also re-engineer interagency rivalry. If you feed them, increase their salary, and these other guys, nobody said anything about them. So they just say, oh, we are the ones that are useless now. So let's just
they can even be used by the terrorists. Look at one supplying uniform.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. For joining us on the program. It's been a very wonderful time. We hope to have you again. It has been a sweet time talking about insecurity in the country, and we had an expert who have done justice to this conversation. And now it's time for us to take a quick break. After this break, we'll return back and we'll look at the judgment from the court and what is happening right at the camp of the African Democratic Congress right now, APP, and other political parties that have been given this judgment yesterday. We'll return after this break. Stay with us.
an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick. And the
Thank you, everyone. The second conversation come your way straight up now. As a matter of fact, the conversation is about the African Democratic Congress, the other political parties. Before now, it has been a lot of ups and downs, what's going to be coming up next? What is going to be the next situation? What's going to be, and yesterday the judgment came. And joining us on the conversation this morning is the ADC National Publicity National Deputy Publicity Secretary, and she's right here with us, and she's going to be joining us in the conversation today in the person of Queen Okiye. It's good to have you join us, Queen Okiye.
Good morning, Mr. Ramsey. Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to be here. You guys you just disrupted my sleep.
Oh, it's all for your party.
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
The demands of your office, of course.
Yes.
So, how do you feel right now after the court judgment of yesterday?
Did you see it coming?
In this country, there's especially when the situation we've been going through in ADC, we can't just say we'll see this coming, because you might think it's going to happen this way, and suddenly the things change, because we're dealing with a sitting government that doesn't want any opposition party to raise their head. But we're cited. It's a good one, not just for the ADC, but for democracy in general. is a good one.
Do you foresee any other trouble? Because it looks as if at some point it will look as if everything is
it's
okay.
over. Then you see another litigation again.
From nowhere, some battle. Somebody just decides. Maybe I was talking to Ramsey before he came. I said, "Are you sure we're not this opposition or those that are really trying to make this move are not going to go to the Supreme Court next?"
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing because nobody wants to give up power easily. They will keep fighting, and we will also fight back.
I love that,
because that's just how it is. Nobody just comes. That's why it's not something they just hand over to you. You have to fight to get it. And as far as the ruling party is concerned, they don't want any other person, and so they will do anything just to destabilize other political parties. And then we are ready. We are ready because we know we're fighting a good cause. So we're ready for them. So anyone they bring.
but let's see, how ready is ADC for 2027?
ADC is ready. You know, you don't come out to tell your opponents your tactics. So you guys should just sit back and watch us, and then everything keeps unfolding as the days go by, because people will not believe that ADC at this point will still be standing. That's to show you that we're still doing our underground work, and as every missile is coming, we're returning it. And then
are you really returning it, or you are dodging it?
Yeah. we dodge, we return, we dodge, we return. So that's just it. You can't keep dodging. At some point, you have to stay and face it before you now try to dodge it. Because you need to know the direction it's coming from. So if you don't watch and see where it's coming from, you might just go and run and enter where it's coming. So we'll just watch, and then we'll see where it's coming from.
Fire back,
and then we dodge.
All right, let's get into talking about opposition. It's not just ADC that got this judgment yesterday. There were other political parties like APP and the rest of them. What is your assessment of the ground for reasonable opposition in Nigeria with this administration? How smooth is the ground for oppositions in Nigeria just with this administration?
It is not smooth. It is not smooth.
Why? How do you mean?
Because the administration keeps tackling oppositions. They keep throwing a whole lot at them because they don't want any opposition party. They want to remain in power. And if any opposition party tries to raise their head, they get some judgments and get some people to start filing cases and then disrupting the parties. So it's not been easy for any opposition party. But it's just that the opposition parties are just determined because they don't want us to lose our democracy. We just want we're in a democratic government, so every opposition party should be allowed to be on the ballots, test their strengths. Both the ruling party, let us all come out and test our strength. Then Nigerians are there to decide who they want. If you're doing well, they'll vote for you. If you're not doing well, that's how it is. Even in a workplace, if you're not doing well, you get someone to replace you. Because we need things to move. We need to still have our country intact.
Okay, so talking about opposition, I like the way you sound. You seem to be speaking for other opposition, which creates a sense of unity amongst opposition. But in the real sense, is there that unity? Because one of the strategies that this current administration used to, take over power was unity. They had to come together. Indeed, they came under one umbrella, or do we say under one broom? To sweep away the administration.
Different brooms came together and make it a bunch.
Different sticks of broom.
Sticks of broom.
The current opposition now seems to be divided, and that is the major concern of the electorate. Nigerians that really want to take the country back. Well-meaning Nigerians that feel, I don't think administration is doing as much as I want it to do. But then I look around, who am I voting for? Am I voting for an Atiku? Am I voting for an Obi? Am I voting for a Donald Duke? It's so scattered, and it's that a strategy workable enough to take over an administration that clearly does not want opposition, as you have stated? What is that miracle that can happen that gives ADC the chance to indeed take over power? Because looking at the combination of Atiku and Rotimi Amechi, the chances are, in all honesty, it still makes it a bit slim, right? I don't know, though, but I don't think it's strong. For me, that's my assessment. But then, I don't know, like you said,
you're speaking for yourself.
You have your strategy, but the opposition is not united. You can be united in heart, wanting to protect democracy, celebrating the victory for one, for all, and all, but it's still not enough strategy for a ruling government that clearly does not want opposition. How do you guys see yourself pulling through 2026?
Are you really together? Oppositions, are they really together?
Is there a chance of still coming as one party in the future? Because I've heard talks here and there saying, okay, don't worry, in the future, something can still happen, we can still come back. Is there such a conversation? Is there such a strategy? I mean, I'm saying this to Nigerians that really want to support opposition, right? You need to give them hope. Because it's already distracting and destabilizing enough that you're hearing one news today, the party has been delisted. You are just really overwhelmed. There are people abroad that are having plans to come back to travel. But with all of this news flying left, right, center, it affects their plans. So you need to encourage them, motivate them, make them know that indeed it is a path worth taking. What can you say to Nigerians?
Okay. It is not really easy. It's a thing about power. In the beginning, there's usually struggle, and it's usually a thing of divide and rule. So first, there's the strike. You're dividing them. But it doesn't just happen one time. There will be consultations. Things will be going on the background, and then at some point, they will all come together because they have a common interest, and the narratives are changing as the days go by, and we expect to see more. We expect to see more unity because the oppositions now know that they can only win by coming together. So as the days go by, as things unfold, we will all come together.
Is it on a national level, like is it on a presidential level? Or, because I know that can happen with maybe other positions, governorship, House of Rep, and other local government, but on the presidential scale, it's like the strongest kind of, how do I put it? It has been very difficult to synergize because everybody has the ambition. Everybody wants to rule. Everybody feels like without being the president, this change cannot happen. So everybody is strong on their ambition. Do you see that coming together happen on that level, on that scale?
I'll say yes. Okay. It can happen, and then no. It may not happen because of ambitions, and that is why we're going to the polls. Then people can decide. And then when the people decide, because it's Nigerians that will decide, we'll take it from there.
Oh, all right, let's get to talking about opposition now. Let's move a little bit because the umpire in charge of the conduct of the election is called INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission. How independent do you think INEC is, and what are you expecting? Are we looking forward to a free, fair, and credible election? Does your party believe in INEC?
That long break.
Hope I'm not putting you on the spot. What do you think of INEC as an umpire?
INEC. It's not for me. I don't know, for my party. I think INEC is. I think we'll see a different INEC this time.
Why?
because they know, for us, like what happened with the courts, because ADC believes in the rule of law, and with the kind of the judgments we got, we were still believing that INEC can be able to be independent and do the right thing. I cannot come here now and say and judge them when nothing has happened, but we're pleading with them. We are pleading, Nigerians are actually pleading with them to do the right thing. Because that's whatever they do will decide what happens in 2027. So we want to see a changed INEC, an INEC that will transmit the right results, what the people voted for, and not one that will cook one thing in the night and announce another thing in the morning. So right now we're pleading with INEC. They should just do the right thing. They should not let our country go into ruins.
Okay, so what is your party doing to ensure that INEC does the right thing? Because one thing to hope and believe that INEC does the right thing, and another thing for INEC to indeed do the right thing. But I believe that political parties have their own role to play to ensure that elections are transparent, credible, free, and fair. For example, the by-elections that I've held so far, one of my assessment is the fact that the whole BVAS thing have not been highlighted as much as it should, because that is for us one of the clear ways we can get our evidences from. Real-time electoral transmission of results is something that was proposed. Unfortunately, it wasn't passed. But it looked as if when all those talks came to an end, people automatically forgot that there's something called BVAS. So every by-election that came on will be assessed based on social media videos. Nobody's talking about this is the votes that was accumulated on the BVAS. I didn't hear such conversation. I didn't hear polling units, officers, electoral officers from different political parties come out to say, based on BVAS, this was not correct. Based on BVAS, this number is conflicting. We are not having a number tallied with what was read at the collation center. We've not had that conversation. What we just see is these social media videos, people are buying votes, we saw videos, and all of it is still not proof. Because people can make videos and it can be videos. Everybody can put up strategy to bring down any political party down now. So the real deal, which is the BVAS machine, how well are political parties looking into it to see that indeed BVAS machine is designed in such a way that you don't even need data. You don't need real-time data for it to work. You can always impute afterwards and take it to wherever you're taking it to, to still see results, right? So it doesn't need a real-time transmission. It can work offline as it is designed. But we're not having that conversation. We're just hoping that INEC does the right thing. Is it totally in the hands of INEC? What are political parties doing to ensure that INEC does the right thing? What conversations are you having within your party structures to ensure that if INEC is trying to do this, we are going to take it on by this way? We have members, we have people that are going to mount to ensure that these things don't happen. We have this strategy, we have that strategy. Is it basically hopes and again we get the same results afterwards? Is that what we're looking forward to 2027 again? A repeat of 2023?
It's not going to be like that. And like I said before, we're not going to tell people our strategy.
This is a strategy, I'm waiting for it.
Yes, we're working behind closed doors, because this whole thing, now that we're saying it, people are hearing it. So we're taking note of the things that went wrong in the last election. We've taken note of them, and we're actually working on them. We all have our different strategies and how we're going to do it.
You think you have enough money to fund, to mobilize people? I'm not talking about vote buying and all of that, but I know that one of the feedbacks we got from the last election was we didn't have enough or the then Labour Party didn't have enough polling.
This is ADC.
No, then I'm talking about, because some of the ADC members are from Labour Party and other parties.
Coalition.
Yes, it's more like a coalition, even if we still have other members in different parties. But
Okay, you're trying to ask if finance is going to be a problem for ADC?
Because that was like the major issue.
When Atiku is there?
Well, Atiku is in one place. Atiku cannot be everywhere.
Atiku is in the party, so he should be.
In the party, but
and he's the presidential candidate, so he should let out resources, of
course. We're going to have issues with resources as long as Atiku is in the party. Is that what we're saying?
It's as long as Nigerians want a better government, so we will not have issues with resources, because it's high time everybody comes together.
With their resources.
With their resources.
Not an individual.
Yeah, you can't leave it for one person. Because if Nigeria is better today, it's for all of us. It's not just for Atiku. It's not for Rotimi Amechi. It's not only for the ADC. It is for all of us. Whatever we're going through right now is affecting everyone.
It's one thing to have resources, though. It's another thing to channel resources properly. It's another thing to have credible people that are able to judiciously use the resources and give the results that are needed. So when you have people that are still coming from a place of greed, you know, the normal, typical Nigerian mentality that wants to keep everything to themselves. I don't think that will happen.
That will not happen.
I don't think.
You know, it's actually human nature.
That's what I'm saying.
It's human nature.
How can we scrutinize the people that we give resources to ensure that indeed you get the results you want? Because we're talking about politicians that have been in the APC, the PDP, coming together under the ADC.
Now they have come together and they want a better Nigeria. So they have to work towards it, because they know that when they keep back these resources, it will affect the elections. So they have no choice but to bring it out and make sure they get a result. It's just like football. Anyhow you play, what matters is who is the winner in the match. So now, if anybody that is in ADC that is not for ADC, before time you will see them, they will leave. And then the main ones that want the betterment of ADC and betterment of Nigerians will remain. And then we'll go out there and we'll come out with the results.
So we should believe all the politicians basically because they have joined the ADC. There's a saying that says a leopard does not change its spots. An adult is an adult that has formed. So how is it that all of a sudden they turn a new leaf because they are in the ADC? Can such miracle exist?
It's another thing for their character, whatever they're doing, but the fact that their interest now is for ADC to change this present government. So that is what we're looking at. We're not looking at all their bad characters now. We're just looking at them coming together, we winning the election. That's what we're after. After that, you can do your bad character. That is your nature. It is
your bad character.
No, not in the government. Your character, like in your house, you do it. But some people are bad in their homes, but at workplace, they are good people. Because they just want the job to get done. When they come to work, they leave all their bad characters at home and just do what brought them to the office.
I don't know how possible that is, though.
Yeah, it is.
How someone can be bad?
All right, let's get into the conversation is getting deeper right now as we speak. I'm trying to reel out statistics because August, just a few days from now, the campaign will start in full force. Take for instance, voters registration. There are top 10 states that have registered. I'm talking about the electorates now. Take for instance, in Kano State we have 465,964, which is the highest, the state with the highest registered voters. All right, then we have Lagos, 350,337. That is the domain of the sitting president, even though he lost there in 2023. I don't know if the architectures have been put in place to salvage that situation this time. Then in Sokoto State, we have 338,730 voters register, followed by Imo, Osun, Borno, Jigawa, Delta, Edo, and Taraba. These are the states. And you know, for every politician, you know, and every political party, they have their areas of strength, you know, as it has to do with the geopolitical zones. Somebody can wake up overnight and say, no, if it is Lagos, no, don't even go there. This person is going to win. It's a permutation anyway. Yeah. But then, looking at all of these, all right, does this speak to your confidence, the confidence of your party in any way come 2027?
Let's not forget that registered voters are different from people that have collected their...
no, we work with the voters that are voters registered. Let's talk about voters registered, because that's where the permutation will come from. Somebody have said on our program here that even if you want to rig election, you rig where there are population, you have people who are registered and all of that. So let's focus on voters who have registered. INEC may still come up with people who did not collect their voters card, probably, but this is the statistic we have now. So what does this speak to your political party, ADC?
This number is a very good one for us.
Wow.
Your
presidential candidate
is from Adamawa State, and I don't think his state makes up to
the top 10.
In Rivers State, I don't know.
Please, MCR, let's have that statistics again.
If Rivers State is there.
Let's have that statistics again, MCR.
Rivers State is not even there.
Rivers is not there.
Rivers
okay, for Rotimi Amechi.
10 yet. Okay.
It doesn't come up.
Top 10.
Top 10. So
do you see this affecting your party in any way, or it gives your confidence?
Presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate does not have their, states represented there. Is that not a thing or a cause for concern?
Or you want to say Kano is going to do a solidarity when they have Kwankwaso running in NDC?
Exactly.
This is tough.
Adamawa and Rivers not being there. I think their figures, they're not among the top 10, but they still have a good number of registered voters. We're not. It's not just one state that we're going to use to win the election. It has to be this percentage from here and here and here. So with what we're saying, we are at advantage.
Okay, that's
advantage.
Good. Yes.
You don't think you need to put in more work?
We're putting in more work. This is just what you have for now. Well, I think this registration stopped a few days ago. And I don't know if this is the correct figure now. So maybe by... Okay,
you're thinking there might be... Yeah, it's a recent one. Yes, there might be an update. INEC will not stop updating until the last... Because they're even going to give us the statistics of people who have collected their voters card. All right, so we are still going to work with that. But then this is the statistics that we have now. Talking about campaign, that is the time where the deception comes in. Nigerians have had problem of not fulfilling campaign promises. How is it going to be for your party? And how can your party convince Nigerians that ADC is different from what we have, all right, what we had previously with all the ruling parties? Because someone said, well, if you don't have power, don't vote me in the next election. And I can't ascertain the state of power in Nigeria right now. The same person is contesting. So for your political party, I'm not calling names now, you know what I'm talking about. So look at the current campaign that is coming now. How would you make Nigerians trust ADC? And
mean that they have
the campaign. And why don't even they fulfill their campaign promises? Remember, Atiku has been a vice president in this country.
My point.
He has been a vice president, right?
Yeah.
Not a president.
But he has been in power.
Yes, he has been in power, but now is the one that is going to be the president.
In charge.
And then he can take decisions without anybody countering it. He's now the one in charge. Then he was a vice president. He was reporting to someone. So now that is the one that is going to be there. He will be the one handling the affairs, giving the instructions directly, not having to go through anyone. because it's more like you have a boss and you're submitting a proposal that will benefit the company. Your boss has to vet it, and when he says go,
at least you can make input.
Yeah. You make input, but what people see is what comes out. You never know what went on the ground. And so now that is the one that is standing at the forefront. Is now the one that will do it.
So let's talk about Rotimi Amaechi, that has been a 2-time Rivers State governor. Can you? I don't even know the basics.
What is his grant in how grand, or what is his grant popularity in Rivers State with the current political setting of Rivers?
State. The current
political setting
within his state.
Even his state. With the likes of Wike and Fubara, well, and I'm not calling Fubara right now, but the like of Wike and the current political setting, the coalition, the Wike coalition that's happening in Rivers State.
Rotimi Amaechi, when he was governor, when he was minister, he did very well.
When he was minister, I think it was Minister of Transportation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
His people speak very good of him. He did a whole lot for his people, both friends and others. He has a good record that can push this whole thing. And Amaechi is good to go.
Do you see him winning Rivers State?
It's very, very possible. What I know is we're going to get the percentage we want from Rivers State.
Okay, I'm not asking you of your strategy, meaning for each of the states, there are percentages you are looking for, because definitely it is going to be shared. Percentage, APC is taking theirs, Labour Party is taking theirs from every state. So you have a targeted percentage from all the states, and you feel Rotimi Amaechi is going to get that percentage from Rivers.
Yes. You will get that percentage from Rivers State. We'll just, it's not just us. So we know how it's going to work. So what we need is just our percentage from different states, and then we'll put it all together, and then we'll have our victory.
What do you think of voter apathy and vote selling come 2027? I'm not talking about your political party. I'm speaking generally.
Are you also ready to throw in the towel?
Throwing in at this point, there's no throwing in anything. Voter, with the things happening, the ones that had happened with the last few states elections, you notice that some people outrightly say no. We're dealing with humans, especially adults, that you can't tell them whether to sell their vote or not. But what we'll just do is we'll try as much as possible to tell them the implications of what you're doing. Because the 10,000, the 2,000 you're getting now, how long will it last you?
Well, Nigerians have heard that story over and over again.
No, you will keep talking. You cannot stop talking. You cannot stop talking, because the people that voted in the last election are not the same people that are going to vote. Some that had this mentality of let us sell our vote, they've seen the happenings, and they might decide on their own to say no, it's not going to happen. So things are actually changing, because now you're seeing the reality. It's very harsh, and everybody is feeling it. So if you feel it is the small money you're getting now that will take you for 4 years, but I know that once we start the campaign, there will be change. That things will keep changing, because we're going to preach the word.
All right. Well, in the National Daily this morning, article was talking about litigation after 2027 election. Do you see people going to court after 2027 election? In 2023, Nigerians had a slogan, go to court after the election. Will there still be a go to court statement, or I no go agree in 2027 election? In just a minute.
But even if it's done with the court, if we were done with the court, how will the lawyers survive? It has to happen for us to know that something is even happening. So the courts,
there must always be aggrieved people.
Yes, there will be. But you see, this time, ADC, we're not going to court. We are winning this election. We are not ready to go to any courts. We are winning. And then when we're there, people that want to go to court can go to court. But we are the ones that will be there. Then anybody that wants to go to court can now go to court. Can now take us to court.
All right. Well, Queen, your confidence is something else. All right. Your confidence is something else. You're doing well for your party. But then we don't have all the time. Would have asked you more questions about your principal, the presidential candidate. Probably we'll have him on our show anytime soon. Everyone, this is the size of the conversation for you today. We've been able to look at the 2027 politics. The race for who is going to be seated in Aso Rock is getting intensified as campaigns get started. In just a few days from now, that's going to be in August. But then, congratulations to ADC and the other political parties for now finding their footings in the race come 2027. Everyone, this is the size of the conversation. And we want to say the view and opinion of our guests is entirely theirs and not that of Global Television. The newspaper analysis at Global Television does not have editorial contribution to the various newspapers. My name is Ramsey Enoch. I will thanks for watching.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you an amazing day. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.